Well, the top shot streets are a dangerous place, so you better tune in to the guy in a bear suit. Guy in a bear suit. Yep. Bear suit. Yep. Guy in a bear suit. Yep.
What's up, everyone, and thanks for coming to hang out and talk about the Top Shot Vegas trip that just happened. I have my dad with me, actually George Bush. I brought him along, and I think we both had a really, really good time. Shout out to everyone in the chat. I see Chewy, who we got to hang out with, which was really cool. But I think I just wanted to do this because there were a lot of people that were asking about Vegas, and I think we had a really unique experience. So, how was your experience, Dad? Like, walk us through it all.
So first, let me give for me a background. Jeb took me on a +1 to Milwaukee to see the Bucks get their ring ceremony, and so that for me was a once in a lifetime experience. Just of all the things that they did, that Top Shot did for us to make an enjoyable time, and then just the community that we had. I got to meet, Ken Rich real well, and just enjoyed my time with him. So for me, going into this event, I know what it felt like, and so did you.
Yeah,
and that really, and why everyone else didn't know what that felt like, and so for me, I had a different view of what was going into it, and it was really. It fit real well to what happened in Milwaukee for me. Mm-hmm. Would you agree?
Yeah. Obviously, I think that was a little more. Shout out Finney for the becoming a cog. Appreciate you, my guy. And yeah, shoot, I snagged one of the pillows at the gym event. But don't tell anyone. Don't tell anyone. Yeah, I think like obviously the Milwaukee one was like crazy over the top, right? Because there was a fewer people, and like they were choosing like very specific people who would most likely spent a lot more on the platform.
But for 200 people, this was phenomenal.
It was I think it was more than 200 people. Even.
Yeah,
I mean they had over 500 people. They had over 500 people that RSVP'd with +1. Wow. So I don't know how many people actually showed up.
Wow.
But there was a good crowd of people like every single event we went to.
Right.
Like the Team Hold show was sold out and got packed. The open gym had like tons of people playing tons of games. The Top Golf was packed. Everyone, like there wasn't like an empty booth for people that like other people spilt into. Like every booth had like multiple people waiting to like swing. There were other people who weren't even like wanting to golf and were just hanging out and eating. So like it was a packed event every single time. And I think that's what was cool was like like you said, we kind of already had a taste for it, but really like seeing everyone else get that taste, and then also like just getting to meet so many people, put so many names to like faces was so cool. Like Mike G, who I had seen pictures of on Twitter, so I had a better idea who he was. I saw him as well, and just it was really cool to like meet all these people that you'd been seeing at the very least saw on Twitter and tangentially interacted with, to like people that you had DM conversations with or were in the Discord with, because we've kind of at this point, I think one of the interesting things about Top Shot, like going through this dip and this bear market that's been going through for a while, is that the people who were kind of just in it for the money or trying to make a quick buck are all gone. And now there's this like core fan base. Yeah. And so getting to, you kind of see all those people on social media, and now getting to meet them all was like really, really, really cool.
Yeah. And I think that was it. A lot of people know each other, but it's like, oh, you're so-and-so. Oh, this is your real name.
Yeah.
And I think that, and then you found out beyond just Top Shot and collecting what other common threads you had in life. I think I was talking to, who was it? I think it was Ricard, and we were talking about that really, this is really, it was exposing of different layers of who we are as people. And we find these other common threads that really joined us together, and it created this really a great sense of community.
Yeah.
You know, it's like the show Cheers, you know, everybody knows his name. We became that type of community for that event. And you could feel the difference, especially as momentum built each day. That momentum built more and more and more.
Yeah.
And I think everyone probably felt the sense of that. So people who didn't get to go, it's hard to explain it, but you really missed out.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say the biggest thing is, and that's what people are having a hard time communicating, maybe, is really that sense of that. And probably from our past experience, we got a better feel for that.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that has been one thing that's been interesting, is seeing people like on Twitter and stuff saying like it wasn't that impressive. And I mean, I'll admit, when I heard about it, when like they're like, oh, Channing Frye is coming and J.R. Smith, I wasn't like jumping out of my seats. Like I was not super excited to meet them or anything. But especially Channing Frye was like one of the coolest people to have like and talk to.
Right.
Like you got to talk to him like extensively, and he was just a very, very nice guy, very intellectual, very like thought out like responses.
Right.
And I think that was really cool. So I mean, I think one thing that was great is I think a lot of people, not just myself, became a lot bigger fans of Channing Frye. And I mean, I found out, Jacob told me that he has a podcast. I was like, oh, I guess I got to go check that out, because not only like does he have like so much insight, but he's like naturally entertaining and a good speaker. So that's something I'd want to listen to. And I think that removing that barrier is what Top Shot does best, where it allows people to like interact and kind of demystify the whole like celebrity around these players and actually get to know them as people.
And I say, so name another place to where you get to personally meet these guys and have a social time with them. I don't know,
for an extended period of time.
Right. That's what a social time.
Yeah,
Not just a moment and a picture, but really they're hanging out to talk. They're looking to get to know you. You're as beyond just a quick picture like a selfie. It's beyond doing that. So that was my conversation with Channing Frye. I literally had asked him a question, the question answer. It's like he didn't answer it the way I thought he was. So I said, do you mind if I follow up on this? And he goes, sure. And we turned it into a 15, 20-minute conversation on different things, and found out incredible his level of intelligence of understanding the sport and its future and its past, and tying it all together. And that's what he and I talked about in that regards. When are you going to have a conversation like that? I don't have a place. Those are the things that are far more valuable to me than a moment. That moment in time is going to be a moment I'll hold for the rest of my life, while a virtual moment is something it's not as valuable to me. Right. I'd say the biggest thing of value to me is what I'm going to walk away with for both of these events. These are special times I have with my son. Yeah. And that is a life event that I will never exchange for anything. I think for him as well. And something, hopefully he'll do some of this with his son, but it allows that relationship to deepen more and more. And I saw another father and his wife and his daughter there, and they were there at the Top Golf, and turning that into a special event for them. That's going to be remembered for the rest of their lives. And I think anyone who's there, they have now one of those moments that they can say, hey, I remember this event. Yeah. And I think that's really what one of the things that Top Shot's focusing on. That's why they're going to these communities for all these local teams, and having leaders, Chewy, like you're one of them, who's going to rally those around. And then they're going to do tours of those places to really have these special events. That is a brilliant idea. It builds these communities of all the people who love basketball, who love Top Shot, and talk about Top Shot, but also talk about life in general.
Yeah, definitely. And Chewy's saying, seeing the kid get his shirt signed was pretty cool. Yeah, that was. And I think I definitely agree with all that. Like, and on top of that, like, they fed everyone. Like, if you were at the open, so you're at the open gym, you can play and all that, but like you're playing basketball and all that, but you can go and get as much Gatorade as you want. They had like other like snack shack type of like stuff there, like candy and like hot dogs and nachos and stuff. So you get whatever you wanted. They had like a free haircut, which you could get, which is just like,
Look at this. This is one of them.
yeah. It's nothing like super fancy, like over the top, but it's really like practical, and it just makes the experience so much better when you don't have to think about anything. And yeah, Mike G, exactly. Like another thing, that's the shuttles, like you didn't have to think about traveling. You didn't have to think about bringing water or bringing food or a snack or anything like that. All you had to do, you didn't even have to bring workout gear, because they gave you a Nike dry fit shirt in case you wore like a regular shirt. So that way you like weren't like soaked in sweat on the ride back. Like everything was just made it nice and like chill. Like everything was great. Yeah, exactly. And the only time there wasn't food was at our live event, and they still had drinks.
Yeah. Well, now neither of us drink, so it doesn't go. But in reality, I think one thing is I could say, because I don't drink and neither does Jeb, we can remember everything that went on.
Yeah,
because our brains are clear.
Unlike Weisberg,
Yeah.
I think he erased his memory multiple times.
Or just can't.
Trip.
Yeah, or just got tongue tied on doing a live show.
He was pretty absolutely destroyed. He was destroyed when the first night at the penthouse. That was
I hadn't met Weisberg yet, so I met him later on. I sat next to him at the basketball game.
Yeah. So after the open gym, we did the live show, which was really, once again, really cool. Thank you to everyone who came out. Shout out to JJL specifically for, donating that hollow after. He already came from Australia, which is like so much.
Double shout out to JJL for me, because he got there early. I'm there early, and we just had a great time talking. That was like one of those connections for me. We just chilled together while you guys got all the prep stuff done. We just sat down and chilled out for a bit and really had just a great time talking. And I hope he had as much fun as I did with the conversation.
Yeah. No, that was great. But so we did, the live show was good. Everyone seemed to enjoy it. We had a lot of fun. Shout out to Janie and Jacob, who took the time to come. I think Janie was at the open gym too. And so was Jacob and Packer Up and all those guys. But I think Janie was only there for the first day, and for her to like make it a priority to come to our event, I thought that was really cool. Considering they had a VIP event as well. So I think she deserves a lot of credit for that. And she did great, as well as Jacob. I think the only person who really took an L that event was PPE. But even then, he got that trivia question right. So I don't, and he ended up getting a pretty good moment later on, but we'll get to that.
So Mike of Team Hold, I got to give him kudos. Great job of emceeing the event, creating flow and feel for it. I don't know anyone in that room who really didn't enjoy that time. And that really comes to him on putting that feel together, adding humor, adding fun, adding all that mix, the question and answer time. I think it made it a really enjoyable event for everyone who was there. Yeah,
that whole night was really great. And then the next day we started off with the Summer League games. And
we missed the brunch.
The brunch wasn't for, it was for Nine Lives Lounge. People.
Right.
I'm not in the Nine Lives Lounge.
But we were invited to the brunch.
Yeah. Zakarian definitely crushed it. But yeah. So we woke up, and the other thing too was this was the first time John Boy Beats got to meet anyone from Top Shot, which was cool. It was the first time me, TST, and Mike had all met in Springfield, but even then that was such a short time. Like we had like 8 hours together, 10 hours together, maybe 12 hours together max. Like this time we had like multiple days. So like once everything was done, like even though we were like absolutely exhausted and just burnt out, we would stay up till like 3 a.m. like walking around the casino, like gambling and like doing things. So like it was really cool just on that aspect. Even like these people that I talk to every day, or like these people I interact with on Twitter every day, besides those four, just like getting to spend like real time with those people and like getting to know them outside of like a video chat or tweets or stuff like that, which we already mentioned, but like the whole reason I was bringing it up is because we were out till like 3 a.m. at least, like every night, which definitely didn't help. You weren't.
I went to bed.
You weren't. Yeah.
You know,
you're a different animal. But
a senior needs to get his sleep.
Yeah. So then Summer League games happened. Obviously, I brought the bear suit, and that was a pretty successful run. Apparently, a bunch of the people from Summer League that actually worked the event or like work for Summer League remembered me. So let's hope next year, now that I've got like it down to a science, that like next year is like the crazy year. But had a lot of like, I was up on the big screen a couple times. Was on ESPN Sports Center. A bunch of like reporters and stuff like kept coming up to me and getting pictures, which I thought was kind of funny. Yeah, that's fine. Top Shot Tesla. You're right. You're right. We'll have to do a challenge spec video with him soon. I think that'd be great.
So just so people know the time frame of Jeb being on this, what happened was he is gonna wear it for the next game when the
Memphis Grizzlies
when the Memphis Grizzlies play. And he said to me, I'm sitting next to him, I'm just gonna put it on early. And so he did. He put it on early, and then after halftime went on, or actually I think it was right before halftime. Was it before?
It was before. I put it on after the first quarter.
Right.
We watched the Detroit Pistons Magic play. Right. After the first quarter, I put it on. I was going to put it on the second game because I was like, it's like walking around in an oven. So I was like, okay, I need to pace myself here. I'm already like exhausted and burnt out. So like clearly I need to like not like ruin my day because we had Topgolf and other stuff later. But Davey, he actually just posted the video on Twitter, but he had told us like to like go crazy when the first basket in the second half was scored. So I put it on for that, and then I just left it on because I wasn't going to take it off, obviously.
Right. And then there was a timeout, so they started playing the music, and they put the camera on Jeb sitting in the seat. He's kind of dancing one place. And so he sees it and says, I'm just going to pop up and do it. And they literally kept it on him the entire time out.
I think they would have kept it on me longer, but I stopped.
The timeout stopped. So they stopped the music. And literally he got applause from everyone in the stadium. I was just like, wow. And we're just busy. I'm literally, if you get to see a full video, you see everyone busting up around him because it was such fun to watch. And then that blew up to where then later on the ESPN comes and does a shot of him and other pieces after that as a result of it. But I don't know about you. I don't have the guts to stand up in front of a big crowd and do that. Hats off to him. And after he's ready, been hot for the whole time. Someone mentioned that he's flipping pancakes. You know what? I can't flip them pancakes. I don't know how about you. I can't flip no pancakes. I can eat some pancakes, but I can't flip them like that. So shout out to Jeb here. I was really impressed. And I think really what it did is it really put Top Shot and the Greater on the map. And that's really the big thing of it. You know, we want more users. Guess what? He's going to probably bring in some more users.
I will say this is the second time in a row I've gotten the Top Shot logo. Second year in a row I've gotten the Top Shot logo on ESPN. So if we're talking advertising dollars, I feel like I've done my fair share there for Top Shot. Like between Chewy going and like giving sermons about Top Shot to people, and then me getting the logo on TV, I feel like between the two of us, we're really doing the Lord's work. But
that's what you like.
Yeah. So I mean, that was a lot of fun. And I mean, people once again were great. It was so much fun to watch. Like Summer League's so cool. I enjoy Summer League so much because it's just like super chill. Like everyone there is having a good time. You're not like, because you can kind of choose your seat and you can move around all the time. Like everyone's just great. You just get to sit, like we were sitting so close. You're sitting in the front seats just watching like basketball. And
and
like,
it's good basketball.
Yeah, maybe it's not like this all-star rookies because unfortunately we didn't get to go to week 1. I think it was Airplane Mode who said, so I really hope. So they announced it this year. Like they gave people a lot more time than they did the year before. But I really, really hope one that they do week 1 next year, because I mean, I think
it's be hard.
It's
for them.
way better. It's way better week 1.
Yeah,
you have to do week 1, and then 2. I just hope they give people like a 3-month runway to figure it out.
Right. So
Like-
so we looked at that. It was May 29th. I know some people say, hey, they gave us a week notice. No, they didn't. They gave you a month and a half notice.
Yeah. Well, some
so-
people were complaining that they announced like the packs and like the details like late, but I think they gave you at least the dates to prepare for. So I think that's pretty nitpicky for sure. But yeah, so what was I gonna say? So after Summer League, we went to the team hold event real quick, just had some drinks with everyone. We got water because we don't drink, but it was cool.
I got a Coke.
Yeah. So we hung out with them. Very cool. Yeah, exactly. Summer. I will say I was pleasantly surprised. I thought Summer League was gonna be a snooze fest. The second game, Kenny Lofton Jr. was playing, and it was a super close, really, really, really good game.
Right.
But after that, we went to Top Golf. Top Golf was really cool. That was the next day.
So after,
that's
right. We did. We actually went to hang out for. Yeah, that's right. We went to.
We went to the bar with
Right.
Team Hold for a bit, and then we went to
Top
Golf.
Golf. Correct.
Top Golf was pretty chill. We just there's once again more free food, more drinks, a nice big space like with the open gym for people to hang out. It was great. Like we hit some balls. We kept talking. I mean, there's so many people, so many cool people that I was so excited to meet. Like Mike G. I feel like I've known him for forever. I got to meet him. I got to see Chewy again. I got to see who else did I meet? I met Milo Goes to College. I met DJ Local, who was hilarious. I hung out with the Deep Thread again. Gosh, there's so many names I'm not thinking of.
And for me, I met a lot of those same people and had some very good conversation. Again, for me, I don't really have a footprint, and I don't want to have much of a footprint on social media. So for me, I'm coming in with not knowing that, and so for me, I'm just sitting down and talking to people and listening to people. So it's getting to know more about them, and I just deep conversations with Milo, with Deep Threat, and Ryan and DJ Local.
Oh yeah, Ryan was there. Ryan was great.
So those guys were doing. I got to meet also Ernie, who's part of that trio, and had some good conversation with him. So it was just an enjoyable.
Oh yeah,
time.
Consigliere, dude, that guy was hilarious. I love the Consigliere, dude. He is so great.
And then the car ride, the Uber ride with Nicole was hilarious.
Yeah, shout out him.
I know.
It was cool. So he was sitting behind us. I think he was in the Nine Lives Lounge, and I had met him the night before, like gambling, but it was kind of late, so I didn't really talk to him that much. I was kind of exhausted, just eating my sandwiches. But he sat behind us at the summer games, and we just started talking. And took an Uber with him and all that. Like super cool guy. Was really cool to talk to him about basketball and life and all that. And that I feel like that was my experience with everyone. There truly wasn't anyone that I talked to that was just like had a bad taste in my mouth after talking.
Right. I agree.
Got to meet Library, got to hang out with Veerman again, who's always like the nicest guy ever. It was great. It was so cool. Got to meet Dumbo finally. I could go on and on as the names pop up, but it was just the whole experience was like truly really really special, and it makes me really happy that a lot of people got to have that experience and kind of get a taste for I think where Top Shot's like trying to go.
Yeah, and I think if at the live event they really explained several different channels in which they're looking to grow in. One of them is these communities and how they have community leaders for each different area. Chewy, I know, is one of them. And they went through and thank you guys who all y'all stepping forward for your local teams, because that's going to be a huge thing, is to create those local communities, hanging out, getting to know one another, bringing new people into that. It's a great environment to do those things and get to know people in general. So that was one avenue. And then another avenue that they're talking about was the trio and how they're bringing new people in through a different way, different means of coming in. So they went through about 4 or 5 different avenues in which they're doing it. I think they're talking about, on the setting aside, what was it, all locking into your
leaderboard
stuff.
That they announced that. I think that's pretty exciting. I'm personally not locking anything for that. I think if you want to lock because you want to get in the top 50, I think that's a no-brainer. That should be a slow roll. Like there's so much time between now and October, and on top of that, I'm almost positive that they're going to release like team sets and or team checklists or whatever they want to call them, where you're going to get a bonus for locking like the whole team set, and then like the floor for getting, let's say that the team set lock is like a 10K. Like if you lock in S2, it's 10K on top of whatever. So that makes the floor like a minimum 10K, and suddenly team sets matter, and suddenly like all this stuff changes. So I think people, unless you're someone like Dingling or like one of these giant whales, like I don't think there's any rush to lock. That's for sure. I haven't locked anything. I don't plan to lock right away. I plan to make a last second call as October approaches. That's for sure. Did we meet the economist? Yeah. So we talked to the economist. I met the economist in Vegas last year and talked to him for hours. I met the economist or hung out with the economist again in Milwaukee, and my dad met him there.
Right.
And he had we both had conversations with him, and he was there again. And I mean, I really like the economist a lot. He's a really great guy. I think he's a very introverted person, so I think that's one of the reasons why we don't hear from him much, and that's why he's not going to go on any streams or anything like that. But I think talking to him about some of the stuff that's going on was really encouraging. I think he has a firm grasp on everything that's going on, and like finally, like we're burning, locking, trade tickets. Like there are all these different avenues to like finally like collect how you want and collect what you love. And I think they're finally. So one thing maybe that not everyone's aware of is the economist wasn't hired until after collector score was already released. So he came into a broken system. And I mean, he told us that much the first year. He was like, yeah, collector score is kind of broken. So yes, they've had to do some work. Shout out Blaze, dude. Nice meeting you too. It was great. It was so great to meet everyone. It made me so happy. But yeah, so he's in some ways he's been fighting an uphill battle to rectify bad trading decisions by Top Shot. So I think we're finally starting to reach a place, and I think the market's reacting maybe a little over the top. I don't know if this is sustainable. We'll see. But I definitely think the market's reacting to all the good things that they're doing and all the things that they have in place. And I think one thing that's really important is I talked to several other Top Shot employees for quite an extensive time, including Jacob. Like after the live show, I think I talked to Jacob for like an hour. And just like the way I think they have a much more firm grasp on Top Shot, collectors' perspectives on things. And I think they really have like nailed down a very strong plan. And I mean, I want to be cautiously optimistic that we'll see that when the roadmap for S4 is released. I don't know. I don't want to go over the moon and say like I'm all in, but I mean, if you guys follow me on Twitter, you saw that I like dropped some money for the first time in like months on Top Shot because I was like, you know what, I'm feeling good right now, and I want to grab some of these things before they potentially get a lot more expensive. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm cautiously dipping my toes back in. I didn't like fire sell everything at the bottom because, I'm not an idiot, but like I'm getting excited again about Top Shot. I'm getting really, really excited. When they announced the Dwayne Wade burning, that was fun. The leaderboards seem interesting, and the way that Top Shot, from everyone, from Jacob to Janie to the Economist, etc., the way they talked about the leaderboards, I think was encouraging. was like there's a lot of people who I've seen on Twitter who have complained like, oh, why is like this whale on 26 leaderboards, even when they're not like a fan of like these teams. But the thing is, I think Mike said this in the morning marketplace already. But like just to reiterate, like there's never going to be a situation where the number one person gets something super special that someone in the top 10 doesn't get, I don't think. It wasn't just you, Chewy. I did see you. I did see you, and I saw the tweet by Cuz, which I thought was hilarious, but it definitely wasn't just you. There were a lot of people. And like if this is a perfect example, top 750, it does not matter if you're number 1 or number 700. And yes, there's going to be even more. There's going to be rare things where maybe the cutoff is like 500 or 200, but I just don't see any time where they're like going to be like, yeah, top 10 get this like very special thing. I think that's more of like a VIP thing where they're like, hey, like if you spent a bunch of money on the platform, we're going to do something special for you, like on like regarding this team, like maybe it's your favorite team or something like that. But I would find it very hard to believe that they're going to like exclude the majority of people on that leaderboard. And I mean, I could be wrong. So I'm not, don't take what I'm saying in stone, but just listening to Top Shot employees compared to me talking to them, especially last year at Summer League, because I think that's the most like we talked with the economist for hours last year, uninterrupted for like 3-4 hours. And I think I think he feels a lot more confident about where they are. I think that confidence is like reverberating throughout the like whole entire staff. And I think as a result, like everyone's starting to get on the same page.
Can I give
Yeah.
I have a different take. And so the economist is so I had initially dipped my toe in Top Shot because of Jeb. And I went to Milwaukee, and then basically what he said in a open question and answer forum is what caused me to be all in, because he made a statement to me. I was baseball cards as a kid. And he says, I owned a piece of cardboard, but now I have something I can watch all the time that's living and virtual, and it's mine forever, and I'm not going to lose it. It's like, well, that's exactly, I get it. Wow. And that statement is really what flipped me. And so I saw him at that time, and that was what an impact. So at the basketball time, I just went up and sat down next to him and just asked him how he's doing. Sometimes you guys forget he's a person. I mean, guys, he's a living person. It's not like, so I'm just asking, how are you doing? Because that's a lot of pressure to constantly having to be tweeted after in positive and negative ways based upon how the U.S. economy is doing. Like he's going to turn that thing around. So I just think I just wanted to find out how he was doing. And we had a conversation briefly on that. And that, to me, was really the biggest thing. Because I want to say, hey, are you doing okay? Because he's a real person like you and I. And guess what? I want to make sure he realized on how important, how good of a job he's doing. So that was also my take. What was it? The economist running surf lessons? No, I don't think he's not that type of. He's in New York. There ain't no surf lessons in New York. We're SoCal.
Yeah.
So that wouldn't be it. But good question, Chewy.
So I think the WNBA leaderboards will be interesting, and I think a perfect example of that is where Top Shot was they airdrop people those NBA NFTs, which I mean, yes, they were garbage, but if you got one and sold it right away, it was like a free $700, $800. And they airdropped those to all the people on the leaderboards, and basically, like I forgot what the cutoff was, but the NBA leaderboards, super competitive. Like to make that cutoff, you had to have a substantial collection. But with the WNBA, if you had set that as your favorite team, like you were great. Like you pretty much guaranteed like got one because there wasn't that many people necessarily on the leaderboard even. And so now with locking, that's similar to like setting your favorite team. If you're locking a moment, you're saying, hey, I think this moment is valuable enough or has enough value to me that I do not plan on selling it in a year, whether it goes up or down. It doesn't matter to me because I'm not trying to get rid of it immediately. So locking WNBA moments could be like a very sneaky move. I know.
Nice strategy.
Yeah, I know. I was talking to Zakarian, and he just locked his. I think it's best of 21 is what the set's called. The first. He just locked the first WNBA set that when it came out, like that very first one. He's had the whole set for a long time. He locked it, and he is, I believe, ranked number 200 or less on every single WNBA team, on every single WNBA team leaderboard. Every single one just by locking one set. And we know that there's some sort of set rewards coming too. So I do think there will be far less competition. Now, that being said, the rewards might be WNBA related. So if you're like, I wouldn't necessarily say go buy a ton of WNBA moments and lock them up trying to get on those leaderboards, because if you don't want WNBA like rewards, it might not be worth your money. But if you have the sets and you don't plan on, or the moments, and you don't really plan on selling them, like locking those things and getting on those leaderboards, like that seems like a solid plan to me. Like I said, I haven't locked anything, but the one or two moments I'm thinking of locking, for example, is that Curry 3-point record breaking moment, because I don't really plan on selling it. That's like a grail to me. So me locking that makes sense to me. So if you have that same perspective where you're like, you know what, I want this moment, I don't plan on like selling it, whether it pumps or like the bottom falls out, like it doesn't matter to me in the near future, being a year, which is, it's a long time, but that's why I would say be careful about it. But like the WNBA is interesting because there's not going to be a lot of competition. I feel like at least for this first one, pretty much if you lock WNBA moments, you are in that top 750. I don't know. I would also say double check the rewards and make sure that the WNBAs are doing the 750 as well. I think it's WNBA and NBA. I would just double check before you start locking everything up, because yeah, exactly. Yeah. So like exactly, that moment is like the best moment I own. The only other moment that I would I have a serial number 2400 Giannis championship moment. And that's the other one that I really don't plan on ever selling. So why not lock it? But that being said, right now, like there's no point in locking, because locking that single moment, that single Giannis moment for me is not going to get me in the top 750. So like I said, I'm going to slow roll it. I'm going to wait till there are more announcements so I know kind of what the rules are, because I do think we're going to get these team checklists, and I think it's going to shake up the leaderboards a bit. And right now, I think there's a ton of people who are locking early and a ton of people who aren't. And we're really going to find out what those scores are when we get closer to October. Right now, the scores don't matter at all. Like I think the low to get in the top 750 for the Kings as of like a day or two ago was like under 200 TSS. There's zero chance that like stays. There's way too many Kings fans. I couldn't see that happening where it isn't like a much higher number. Court airplane mode, 550K moments locked already. That's pretty substantial. That's crazy. Curry, number one lock player right now. That makes sense to me. Yeah. Plus, if you send a bunch of moments yeah, exactly. Agreed. Yeah, it's a very interesting thing. I'm very excited to see it develop. I think Top Shot score is finally getting good, where like things are a little more exciting right now. Because like I said, there's so much going on, and you can finally, like, instead of collecting kind of within certain boundaries, like with collector score, it was like you had to collect within certain boundaries to a certain degree. Like unless you were a whale who had like crazy funds, like if you wanted to make a pack drop, you had to go buy the S2 floor. Like there are just certain kind of like unwritten rules. And now I think it's a lot more free flowing, and there's so much more to do. And people are realizing, especially I think with these squad goal challenges, oh, I don't have to complete every challenge. And now that that's happening, we're seeing a completely different dynamic, and it's leading to a much healthier market. We're not seeing these moments shoot all the way up and then tank as soon as a challenge is down, which is just not good for the economy like long term. So, and I think Top Shot has made some really good steps to dampening that, which is good to see. But yeah, I think getting back to the Vegas thing, I mean, I think ultimately, in some ways, it was better than the Milwaukee trip. Like the Milwaukee trip will never like it's truly
different.
It's truly the
Yeah,
once in a lifetime experience for me.
Right.
But it was just like
sense of community was bigger with this one. I mean,
Yeah.
that if anyone was there and didn't get a sense of community with one another, then I'm not sure what event they were at.
Yeah.
That I think Top Shot, I think that was an intent to do that, to bring that together. And I think they succeeded very well. And they put a lot of resources to pulling this off. It's not like this is cheap. There is a lot of resources for that, for basically, here it is for us. Here you are as a part of being a collector. Here's an opportunity what we want to give you. That's kind of a special opportunity. I don't know. Think of another time in sports when that's been done to a broad spectrum of people, from people coming in from Australia, people coming in from Canada, and all over the US for this type of event. And it's not a conference. It's just a chance to enjoy basketball.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool in that regards. And I don't think you don't see that in Major League Baseball. You don't see that in the NFL. You don't see in any other of the major sports or even hockey, to where you get that close to athletes, to just hang with them, to have fun with them. They're relaxed. They want to be ordinary like you are ordinary. They don't want to be celebrities. If you could see that, that's how they were acting at those events. And I think that's really cool. One thing that was pretty good, Channing Frye, the dude can shoot. I mean, he's 7'1", and he had 9 out of 10 3-pointers, like on a clock, 3 or 4 different times. I mean, I'll be lucky to make 1 out of 10, and he's making 9 out of 10 piece of cake. And he's doing it as he's talking to people, picking up the ball, then just refocusing and hitting. J.R. Smith, same thing he did with the golf club.
Yeah.
Sweet, smooth swing. I used to play a lot of golf before my back went bad, and there was just a sweet swing, and how he was focused and things of that nature in that environment. Just a great time for people, I think, in regards.
Yeah, no, I was legitimately surprised. Like I said, Chewy, I agree. I became such a big fan of him, or not even a fan, just so much more interested in him, and like wanting to like I said, like listen to his podcast and stuff. Like, dude was really cool.
Yeah. So one of the questions I was asked Jeb to ask me, what did I talk to Channing Frye over? So the question I asked him, just to let you guys know, was, hey. I asked him a question. Hey, you were in the old school basketball, and now you've seen the game change to this newer modern approach. How does that compare, especially with the college game of today? What do you see as the future in both those arenas? And I was expecting him to go old school in his answer, and he went the extreme opposite in his answer in that public setting. He basically said, hey, the Europeans have really got it done right. If you see the game we're seeing now in the U.S., it's a lot of the European game, to where skill sets, you have to be able to do everything in every position, defend, do all these different components. And really, that needs to change in the college game. I learned in the college game, he was saying, to play my position, to do these particular things. Now the skill set is diversified to where you're having to do all the different things. And then he says, look at the top 3 guys who are the MVP 3 candidates, the top vote getters. All 3 of them are European based. So that's what I went and followed up. Okay, I told him, hey, on the personal conversation, you answered my question differently than I think. I like to go further into that. And we went then further into that discussion, and very intelligent answers, very insightful but it was just a time where I can enjoy a time with him. And it was really a time for me to learn more about things that I will not see about the game that he sees as insights. And I think that part was really, really cool for me. So that was what happened with my time with him, just to let you know.
Yeah. So Top Shot Tesla says, does your dad know about JR's golf endeavors?
I do. That's why I went and talked to him. I did not want to take a picture with him. I just want to tell him, hey, hey, I look at your swing. It's sweet. I saw Tiger Woods when he was an amateur play at the Riviera Country Club at the LA Open. And he had a huge following then. And the guy had this effortless, sweet swing. Now, then he tried to, bulk up some more and hit maybe 15, 20 yards. He should have just kept the sweet swing. J.R. Smith has that sweet swing. It's effortless. It's so smooth. And that's why I wanted to let him know, hey, I don't want to take a picture with you. I just want to let you know I've been watching you swing. And he really appreciated that. And we talked and chatted for a minute. Really cool guy. I had a negative opinion of him, just what I had always heard through the NBA. And that, I had heard from, I was talking to Channing. That's when he says, JR is really this cool guy. And I go, he's not what people think he is. And he told me a little bit about him. And then that really did materialize in my time. So I didn't take a picture with either guy selfie wise. That was not my intent at all. And so it was just good to sit, talk to him and just chat with him for a bit. I think these guys want to be regular guys, and that's why, and I treated them that way, and they responded in that particular way. I think for in any future event, realize if NBA Top Shot brings us an NBA player, that's who these guys are going to be. That was the same way in Milwaukee. They were the same thing.
Bobby Portis
was so cool. He just hung out for a couple hours rather than a 20-minute cameo. So this is something you guys can really do. It's a special event. It'll be a moment that you'll remember the rest of your life. And that's really cool.
Yeah. Vegas was truly a once in a lifetime experience. But the crazy thing is that there's a chance that next year is another once in a lifetime experience.
Right. And I guarantee it.
I think that's what's crazy about Top Shot is I would say I've had 3 or 4 once in a lifetime experiences that I truly never, I obviously I never saw myself calling myself actually Jeb Bush and wearing tinfoil and wearing a bear costume and all this stuff.
Like bear costume you bought earlier. So you're eventually going to wear it.
I didn't see you wearing it at a game or
right.
Like
I agree.
And like there's a lot of things I didn't see, but one of the things I just truly never saw was like playing a basketball game in the NBA Hall of Fame, going to like Summer League, something that was always on my bucket list and I never had done. But like Top Shot was like Team Hold was going to go last year. And I was like, you know what? I've always wanted to do this. I got my best friend from college who's been before, and he was so bummed he couldn't go this year. Because
Nagano's a really cool guy.
Yeah, he's the greatest. But like that was on my bucket list, and that experience was 10 times better because of Top Shot last year. And this year, absolutely decimated last year. Last year was just there's a kiosk you could wait in line for an hour for, and hey, there's we have some reserved seats up front. This year, but before the game started, you're on your own. Like if you can meet up with some collectors and get food, go for it. But like you figure that out. This year there was nonstop stuff to do and so much opportunity to just be in a nice big space and hang out with other Top Shot collectors who love basketball and who love Top Shot.
I like to challenge anyone who went there to not say they would not go back next year. I think what needs to happen is y'all have those conversations with the people that you interact with and to let them know, even with these local events, you might have NBA players showing up to these events. What was that?
He said basically you were big time in NBA players.
Got it. That was pretty funny.
Yeah, I would say to add what you're saying on the flip side, the people who didn't go, who have been saying that it wasn't that cool. I think if you went, you would have been kind of surprised. It wasn't the craziest over the top thing, but I think that was better. It gave people an opportunity to hang out. So yeah, I am a lock for next year. I'm really hoping Top Shot announces it 3 months out. I hope they do first week. I hope everything's a little more spelled out so people have the opportunity to plan for it and it not cost an arm and a leg or them having to juggle things last second. I really hope they do because I think it's like I'm planning to go next year. If my dad can, I'm sure he's gonna come. I have my friend who came last year wants to come next year. Like we're already talking about that. And I have another friend from college who's like super into basketball, and I've kind of like showed him Top Shot, and he's bought some packs. He likes Top Shot a lot. He's not like super hardcore like me, obviously, but he wants to come too. And I'm like, dude, this could turn into like a big like trip, like me, some college friends going and meeting up with all these other people. Like, I mean, I would like getting to have a trip every year with John Boy Beats, TST, and Zakarian is a pretty good trip. We had a lot of fun, and I mean, It was the same with every collector I hung out with. It was so much fun, and I mean, when the live event finished, they had to kick us out. When Top Golf finished, they had to kind of kick us out because we were just all hanging out, talking, like getting to know each other and having such a good time. Like there wasn't enough time for all of us. I feel like I didn't get to have like a like a good conversation with half the people I was hoping to. Like there's like I met Library at Top Golf when it was ending, and we ended up talking for like an hour after I said that, like, oh, I'm about to leave. Like I ended up talking to him for an hour, and I could have talked to him for an hour too. Like there were just so many cool people there, and it was just it was such a great experience. Yeah, and I agree. I think Chewy. Hopefully they. I think this year, if they would have announced it sooner, it wouldn't have been a. It would have been a good environment to like bring your kids. Even like the open gym, seemed very family friendly. Summer League obviously is a very family friendly thing in general, and Top Golf, like there's kids there having fun. Like I think they did a really good job at making it, and that's what I'm saying. If they give people enough runway for next year, I think like it's going to be 10 times better. Even if they did the exact same thing, just because more people will be able to go and more people will like be excited about it going into it.
So. And another comment on regards to Chewy, what saying, even if there's not so much, how many places where you can have that many guys just hang out and relax with one another, right?
Yeah.
That's not common. And have the same enjoyment of things, have that same bond that's there. It's a place where you can breathe and drop your guard for a moment. I know, I was talking very specifically to Milo about this, and we just had a very incredible conversation, just a very deep conversation on things going on. And that meant a lot to me personally. We're able to drop our guards, and that's really cool. So even if it's not as much family oriented, that's a guy's time, and that's really a cool thing to have too.
Yeah, all about hanging with the boys. It's all about the boys. But yeah, I agree, Chewy. And there's a couple people there that I never thought I would be talking to so much, but it was great. Can't complain. So I think, do you have anything else to say? Or?
No, I just want. Hopefully that does. One thing. So, welcome to my White House. We don't have an oval office. We have a square one. So just to let you know, this is a square office instead of the oval one. But appreciate you guys coming on and hanging out with us. And hopefully we answered a lot of your guys' questions, and it made you understand more of what went on, because that's why I wanted to pop in. I just want to make sure people got a feel for that. We were really wanting to do that. That became a priority to us. So hopefully that was very helpful.
Yeah. Yeah. And thank you to everyone. Shout out to everyone who's watching this later on that interacted with us. Like, it was just a great time, and I hope the feeling was mutual, because like great trip. I had so much fun. Right. Excited to do it next year. Excited for a possible Top Shot convention or whatever else is in the pipeline in the near future as well. So thanks guys for joining and hanging out in the chat. And
And
yeah,
lastly,
it's great.
thank you, Top Shot, the staff people. Tremendous job on what you did and the conversations and the openness you were to everyone there. That's really on you guys.
Yeah.
That is, for me, as a tremendous forefront to be able to you can actually have conversations and things of that. And the openness you were with all that was very greatly appreciated, I think, by the community.
Yeah. Shout out to Jacob, Packrip, Meg.
What was JP?
JP?
JP was
the coolest.
He was absolutely JP.
I
love talking to JP.
JP
Personally.
is the best.
Thanks for bringing your wife. You know, she hung out. She was really great sports. I'm glad she was there too.
Yeah, everyone was great. Meg was great. I'm trying to think who else. I'm trying to give SF Celtics, I believe, is his name, or Cedric.
Nice.
Everyone was great. The Top
Right.
Shot employees were great, and they definitely put in a lot of work to make this happen. And I think considering how much people are at their throats when things go wrong, I think you got to tip your hat and thank them for when things go right. And Janie, I can't forget Janie. So shout out to Janie.
And look at the shirts. Last year, the shirt was nothing. These are really nice shirts.
Yeah, the Nike Dry Fit, these are clean.
They are clean shirts that you can wear around. Everyone that got one says, you know, I'm going to be wearing it. And people are going to go, what's that? And then you have the ability to open up a conversation too. So it's great.
Yep. All right. Well, thanks everyone for hanging out, and we'll see you guys next time. Let's see if there's do I have a video to play, or I think I'll just play the
Your intro. Yeah.
If I can find it. Oh gosh.
It's at the top, I think. No?
Oh, I don't see it, so I guess we're just going to do a cold inning. Thanks everyone.